Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. I will wait 1 minute, inshallah. I think sometimes a little bit of a lag in terms of when we go live on the two platforms. Just so everyone knows, we're usually live on Facebook and YouTube. Normally we have more YouTube viewers, but maybe this week, inshallah, we can get more from Facebook. Okay, let's get started, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome back to our Q&A hosted by Al-Salam Institute with our guest Shaykh Akram Nadwi, who is the principal and co-founder of Al-Salam Institute. This Q&A is usually once a week on a Thursday, 6 p.m. UK time, just for half an hour. Any questions you may have, any kind of, if it's to do with fiqh questions or spirituality, or maybe a personal question that you don't really have access to anyone in your personal life to ask, and get an answer, inshallah. Hopefully this will provide you with a sort of platform where we can maybe help you and at the same time benefit other people as well, inshallah. I want to start with a question we had last week, and I think it doesn't apply for us in the UK, more for our American audience. Sheikh, Thanksgiving just recently passed, and maybe a few days ago, or maybe it was last week. As we have questions with any kind of big holiday, if that's Christmas or Diwali, or I don't know, Easter. Someone was asking last week, is celebrating Thanksgiving permissible? And I think, Sheikh, some Muslim families in the US actually take it very, very seriously. It's a very big kind of holiday for them. So yeah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. These questions keep coming very often. I've already written actually an article about this matter. I should forward, but anyway, the summary of the matter is that Muslims should not celebrate something like that among themselves. But there's no need for that. But if they are, working somewhere, part of a job, sometimes, it will be rude if you don't, congratulate people, or you don't, participate in the celebration. So if there is something like that you need, you can do, as long as there is no shirk and nothing which can offend Islamic religion. Otherwise, Muslims should not celebrate non-Muslims festivals among themselves.
Okay, Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. We have it's an interesting question. Maybe it's worded in a bit of a confusing way. I'll put it on the screen. Riaz is asking, Salaam alaikum, Sheikh, do we get munafiqs today that are similar to the munafiqs in the time of our Rasul, sallallahu alayhi wasallam?
Yeah, hypocrisy simply means that people actually are kafir unbelievers, but they pretend to be Muslims for some advantage. So there are many politicians in Muslim world. They don't believe in Islam, but they have to pretend they're Muslims because they get a vote, and they're heads of the state. They have to represent their religion as a majority. So they do many sometimes they attend the prayers and all, but they don't believe in anything. And there's somebody actually, in your community, sometimes in the family, you'll have somebody who does not believe, but they pray, Eid prayer or maybe Juma, just to support the people, but they don't believe in anything like that. So nifaq is when people hide the kufr, but they pretend that they are Muslim for any reason. So people like that always have been in every community. There are always hypocrites in Medina. Now, what the difference is, in those days, the Prophet ﷺ would have been told by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who are munafiqeen. We don't know. So we should not judge about the people whether they're munafiq or not. We can guess, but should not judge anything. Don't mention anybody by name that he's munafiq. But there is another nifaq where people actually are believers, but they don't do anything, don't pray, don't pay zakat. So they don't do the deeds of the believers. That's also nifaq, but we call it nifaq amali, in practice. And there's so much sins for that. Sometimes people can become unbeliever because they don't follow the religion seriously.
Okay, let's go on to a question from Imran. Can we have more than one Khalifa at one time? I heard a Khalifa in power can kill if another tries to declare himself as a Khalifa. Is
I
this
think
true?
really what you should do, learn what is more important in your life. Learn your prayers and all those things, and also Arabic language. If you have time, study Arabic. It can help you for to understand the Quran, the Hadith, and whatever important for your religion is. Questions like that, which actually have nothing to do in anything really, whether one Khalifa or two Khalifa, three Khalifas, even if there's Khilafa, nobody going to listen to. If somebody wants to become Khalifa, claim, sometimes there used to be two Khalifas, three Khalifas. Anybody can claim anything. It actually depends on the power. Nobody going to ask you, can I become Khalifa or not? If people want to get power, they will get power, with the sword, with the weapons. So I don't really think there's any advantage or any reward in discussing question like that or answering the question like that.
Okay, let's move on to our next question. I think this has been a topic of discussion online sometimes. In the past year or so, I don't know if you're familiar with this, Sheikh, but this person is asking, what are your thoughts on auto-tune in Quran recitation? So, Sheikh, I know sometimes when we listen to Quran recitations, it can often be very, very melodious, and sometimes some people may argue a little bit too much, almost like singing. Now that we have people online that actually they use technology to kind of auto-tune their voice to sound different, so it's not even with their own voice, and this is with the Quran.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not make really any religion, any knowledge for the entertainment. Same thing like, somebody asked the question about the khilafa. The khilafa actually has a purpose. But the people who claim to be khalifa, they don't know really anything, just want power. So they reduce khilafa just to become, king or ruler or master. So people like that, there are two khalifas, three khalifas. So similarly, Quran has been revealed that people understand the book, reflect upon that, contemplate and act upon that. But now people have made, reading with tongue more important than anything else. Then, they came the techniques of recitation, so many qira'at and melody and so many things really. Most of them will be sinful. One of them is this thing, Quran has not been made to, for any entertainment. It is the book of Allah for guidance. When people read it, they are contemplate, they understand, and they have to work hard, how to act. Then they get reward. They should fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I don't like any of these things really. That when people keep changing tune, there are some qari who can read in the voice of 16 qurra or 18 qurra or something like that. It all really all lawful. They will get sin for that, and those who attend this, they also will get the sin for that, because it is disrespect for the book of Allah. It was revealed to be understood and to act upon, and now people just making it like a game.
Sheikh, even on an individual basis, when someone is reciting Quran, even with themselves, and they are enjoying it, and maybe of course we can't judge anyone's intention, but some people will enjoy and have their relationship with the Quran, and it will just be melodiously reciting and enjoying that, and that they think is a good relationship with the Quran without connecting with the meaning, without reading the translation. Would you go as far as to say that maybe this could also be sinful if that's
I think
is
really people should, change their, enjoyment. People can enjoy many, many things really, but does not mean that, but enjoyment, justifies things, so it becomes good. People should understand. In the Quran has mentioned who are the people of the Quran. People of the Quran, those who read it and their tears come from their eye and then they become pious. If Quran makes you more pious, then that's fine. If it does not make you more pious and you enjoy that, even if you're alone, it does not make, that justify whatever you do. Just follow the Sunnah of the Prophet, how he did, how the companions did, to make effort to do like that. People can, there are people really who smell petrol and they enjoy that. People can change the taste. People change the taste in the food, change in everything. So one has to correct the taste and make more effort to contemplate, to think about the Quran, to read, to understand. That will make your iman stronger.
okay? Let's move on to a question. Okay, let's take this one. How did the angels know that mankind would shed blood and cause corruption before humans were even created? Where did this knowledge of theirs come from?
When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I'm going to make, Khalifa, someone in charge of the earth, they're going to have, power and, so that actually anyone who is clever, they can understand. Once you give people authority, power, and charge of anything, then they will, compete and they will, everybody will want to become Khalifa and this and that, like you have seen really. So it was not very difficult for the unjust to understand that. So that was they said. But this verse actually have been misunderstood so much, and I've explained the verse so many times, in my speech, in Arabic and in English, and also explain the verse in writing as well. To read my articles or listen to the videos, it will help you to understand what does the verse actually mean.
For anyone that doesn't know, if you want to access any of Sheikh's articles, you can go onto our website and you can see a lot of them there. You can follow Sheikh's Facebook account, Facebook page, and he also has a Telegram account, which, Sheikh, if I'm not mistaken, you share all of your articles on there too. So I definitely recommend, inshallah, maybe we can put the link somewhere. We will take a question from Facebook now, from Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Without permission of the female's guardian, will the marriage be valid if she doesn't marry in kufur economically? I'm not sure what the last word means.
Because the marriage actually involves families, so it is better for the men and women both to involve their families, and also the women, involve their families, their guardians. But according to Hanafi Jews, actually many people, marriage actually is a contract between two individuals. If they have consent, that's enough. Say if a woman wants to marry a man, without even permission of their family, and she has some good reason, so she can marry. She says to him, I marry you, and he says yes, and there are people who witness that, or they can register the marriage in the court or somewhere, so that marriage will be valid. And the families actually don't need to object unless it is big insult for them or something like that, which I can read these days, nothing like that. So, they are harm. The first thing is that, you should make effort to involve your family. But if for some reason they don't support you, there are so many people actually understand that postponing the marriage of their sons and daughters for their own ego. Some people come 40-year-old, 45, because the parent want to marry them somewhere else, and they don't want to marry there. So, parents don't care. So people like that really, you don't need to respect. In that sense, you can marry wherever you like, and then make effort to please them and make them happy. Anyway, summary of the matter is a marriage of a woman, is valid if she has her own consent and there are marriage registered properly and witnessed. It does not depend on the consent of the family.
Okay, Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. Let's take another very interesting question from Abdul Rahman, who is asking, some non-Muslims say the description of hell in the Quran should not be read to small children. How should we respond to this?
There's nothing in the Quran really we should stop anybody to read. Quran has come for everybody, and there's nothing in description of the hellfire that children should not read. People used to say they don't make your women to learn Surah Yusuf or this Surah, that Surah. The Prophet's wife Aisha, she was young, she knew Surah Yusuf. So, they are useless thing. People from, actually the knowledge of the hellfire is already in the heart of the people, in their nature and the fitra. So, people should learn this thing. And from very childhood, they should fear hellfire, because that will that will grow taqwa and fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, there's nothing like that, so people in this world, they have got so much ghafla and so much things that even if you read about the hellfire, still you are not going to keep in your heart. Everything distracts you. Even the prophets and messenger can feel that. So I don't think that if somebody gets a discussion of the hellfire in their heart, they will, they will become mad or something like that. It will affect them. Nothing, it is just for a time being, unless they really are very pious people, they take very seriously. Generally, people don't take things seriously. So, people should read hellfire and paradise and everything. And also the Quran, gives you balance. So when you read the verse about hellfire, Soon will come a verse about paradise. It all together. Rahmah of Allah, mercy of Allah. The Quran actually brings balance in the life. So don't think that there is anything which should stop the children from reading. No, they make them to read everything.
Okay, inshallah, let's move on to a question from Iram Khalid, who is one of our students here at ASI, alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum. I pray that you are well, Sheikh. What tafsir books do you recommend for complete beginners?
I really don't recommend any tafsir book for the beginners. Just read the Quran, and if you don't know Arabic, read the translation, and it will be helpful. And then think, then reflect, and then if you don't understand, read again, read again. It will be so useful to you. And still, if you don't understand, then ask somebody who knows. Because when you read tafsir, then you're not reading book of Allah. You're reading somebody else's explanation. So there's somebody else between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The best thing is read the Quran, either in Arabic language, if you know Arabic. If you don't know, then read in the language that you know, and read a little bit and try to understand. And if there's something unclear, don't worry, read the whole Quran. Some part are not clear in one place, they will be clear somewhere else. Most Quran really is very, very clear for everybody. When you read stories of Ibrahim, Musa, Isa, Yusuf, there's nothing actually the people, it is some secret. Similarly about paradise, hellfire, attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and all those things, they are so clear. Don't need any tafsir or anything like that. Sometimes the Quran, they refers to particular stories. Yeah, that you need sometime to know, ask somebody. And sometimes there could be something legal matters which are a little bit complicated, like something about inheritance or divorce. So that you can ask a scholar, if you don't understand. But there are many things around that you'll understand, because it will remind you about the fear of Allah and taqwa. So I will ask you, just read yourself, see what happens.
Okay, inshallah, let's move on to we have a hadith related question from Shahir, who's asking, what does it mean when scholars say hadith does not provide certainty but probability? So yaqeen al-dhann.
These are really, useless discussion. There's no purpose behind that. Nothing really. It's any speech. Tell me when somebody brings news to you that somebody has died in your family. There's no certainty in his news. He could be lying. He could have misunderstood. He got wrong information. But if you think he's a reliable person, you start acting upon that, and then maybe you find out there was some misunderstanding, and then you correct yourself. All the news and all the information in the world, they are like that. There's no certainty in anything. Actually, you study, so many ideas about science. No certainty. It all theories and this and that. To bring unnecessarily certainty, yaqeen and dhann in the hadith, useless thing. Even the Quran, even if it is certain, it's still a meaningless problem unless you understand properly. What people explain to you. You still can be uncertain. Maybe he's wrong. He's not right. The way is not like that in this world. The way you really believe, and then start to find out hadith is sound, and then start thinking and acting upon that. You learn more and more. So to divide the Nari in this category, it all has come from the people whose intention has been how to control the society. To somebody denies yaqeen thing, they become kafir, qata'i thing become kafir, or this thing and that thing. There's no need actually. The companions never discuss this matter. There's some hadith are zanni or some are yaqini. Whenever the Prophet ﷺ said to them something and they got the news through someone, they acted upon that. They didn't say, oh, this one person, like, they are praying towards Jerusalem in near Quba. And then somebody came that, and he said, Allah inna al-qiblata qad huwilat. The qibla has changed. And the people inside the prayer, they changed themselves towards the Kaaba. It was news information of one person. The qibla towards Baitul Maqdis was certain, because that's how the Prophet used to do. This change was actually zanni, because it come out through the news of one person. It's still the people follow that. So there are so many. When the Prophet sends his letters to all the kings and rulers, he sent one person. It is zanni, but still they act there, and the Prophet act on those letters. That's how the world always has been. So I really think all this discussion of zanni and yaqini and all those things, in the knowledge they use it. I've discussed this thing, and some of my articles again. Really, I keep referring to them. The problem is people don't read. If you read them, you'll understand. Because I explain this point very well in some of the articles. So read them, you'll understand, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. Let's move on to our. I want to take more questions from Facebook, but it seems. Okay, we have one more. Let's take this. From Rayan. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. The Hanafi madhab allows marriage of women without wali, which is widespread in our subcontinent, as you know. But other madhab don't allow this. Now, which one is right and which one should we follow? And if we follow the Hanafi stand in this matter, will it be inappropriate? This may be related to the last question, I'm not sure.
And also, this thing, whether people should be stick with one madhab or they can take from other madhab. I've discussed these things so many times, and the courses I taught, if you listen, because in this, short time of the question answer, I can't help in all this. The simple matter is that whether Hanafi or non-Hanafi, all the people should, when they marry, they involve their family. I don't understand how you marry without your parent. If your parents are there, tell them and you be with them, and their blessing will be with you. That's good. And your grandfather, grandparent, and your brothers and sisters and close relatives and friends, they should involve. This thing that you marry someone without your parent, it could happen if they are far away and you live somewhere else. Still, you can tell them over the phone or discuss with them. Sometimes could be a problem. They don't approve the marriage because they want, certain family or something like that. Yeah, this is a problem. It will be cases occasionally. In that case, actually, best thing is to follow Hanafi madhab, and people should marry who they want, and parents should not interfere unnecessarily because it has so much problem. I know all these stories. So generally, people should involve everybody unless there is a problem.
Okay, Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. This next question, again, these are all very relevant questions. Sheikh, because of the World Cup, and these have been going on for quite a while now, Nasif is asking, Assalamu alaikum, is it permissible to watch any game where the players are not wearing clothes properly? For example, they're wearing shorts.
Thing is, for the men in some madhahib, like a Maliki madhab, even Bukhari, think that thigh, they are not awra, so they are not to be covered, they are not awra. Some people say it is light awra. There are so many differences of opinion. So I don't think there is a problem really, watching when people are playing. The problem is people have desire. If some women get the desire because they look at the men or their legs, so yeah, then it will be not allowed for them. Even like a face, even if you look at the face of a man or any part of the body and it gives you enjoyment or something like that, it will not be allowed. Same for men. If they look at the face of the woman or her hair or hand or something, anything like that, or even the presence they feel desired, then they should not be there. They should leave. So when the desire comes, things go haram. Otherwise, generally, if people don't have any feeling, I don't think there's any problem.
So, Sheikh, if it's then, I know maybe you're not saying this in an absolute sense, but if we're saying, for example, people watching football or maybe rugby or other sports where the men's awra is showing, and likewise for any other female sports too, how is someone supposed to be able to determine, I'm feeling, sometimes people can't tell, sometimes they'd use it as an excuse and just say, oh, no, I'm just watching this for entertainment, there's no desire.
People actually understand. I don't think really people have problem. They can know really that when they see something, just a sport, or whether they desire to look at the body or something like that, you can see that people follow that. Or I think really there is any problem to understand the difference between desire, between just simply watching things without any desire. As people can differentiate between a food which has no taste and between food which has a taste and you eat for the desire. So similarly, think if you have, and another thing really is more important than that. The believers should not have time for these things. They should do things which are more important. Just think why watching football actually will be important anyway in your life. If people who play football, I can understand because it is good for them, for their health. Though it has become so much commercial thing. So it's not really a sport anymore. It has so many other problems which I don't want to discuss now. So if you are not playing, what a purpose to watch? It does not give you any health or nothing. It does not make you stronger. So either you play football or you just do some other works or go for a walk, some physical thing. Just watching game, I don't think it's just waste of time really for it. Maybe people have entertained like same like people read Quran with all these melody things and then they enjoy that. It's the same thing football. It is just waste of time. People should make their life more serious and do a more serious thing in their life. So I don't think any serious person will have time to watch footballs.
Okay, inshallah. Let's see if we can take one or two more questions. I have one that I noted down. Okay, we've got another one from Abdul Rahman. Can we carry, or I'm assuming give the Quran as a proof of Allah, or should we believe in Allah from our fitrah?
You can carry the Quran as a proof of Allah. I don't think there's any contradiction in both of them. You have got your fitra, nature, then you've got reason, and then you've got Quran. All three supports each other, and they make everything stronger. So I don't understand why people just need one. They need their fitra, so that's very important, and then need reasoning to understand things, and then need the Quran, because Quran is revelation pure, so it helps you. Sometimes you think your fitra is this, but you don't understand, and the Quran comes and it makes explanation. And also Quran makes things very clear. Fitra and reason don't make things so clear. Quran is a kitabul mubin. So people should read Quran and get guidance from that. It's not enough for the people just to have a sound fitra and reason. Yeah, if you don't have Quran, then this tool will be helping you. But once you got the Quran, you don't just suffice with the fitra and reason. You should carry the Quran and make effort to understand and follow it.
Okay, let's take one last question, and I don't think I've taken this one. Assalamu alaikum. Is shirk a matter of belief, or is it a matter of actions and belief?
Like Iman. Iman is not only the matter of the belief. Iman actually is part of action. Because when you have trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that makes your actions stronger and then do things properly. Same shirk. It actually corrupts your belief and faith. It corrupts also your action. You can't do pious things. So, you want to do charity, but you don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you want to please other people or something else. So when shirk comes, it corrupts everything very, very much really. So shirk is a problem for your faith. Shirk is also a big problem for your actions.
Okay, Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. I think we will leave it there. I think we've actually taken most of the questions. So inshallah, Sheikh, hopefully inshallah we'll see you next week. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. And likewise to everyone else, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your questions. They were all very, very relevant, alhamdulillah, and very beneficial. And I hope all of you were able to benefit as little as or as much as you could have. For everyone else that is still here and can still see my screen, you can see that Sheikh has a course that he is going to be starting very, very soon, inshallah. This course is going to be starting in, I think, the last week of December, so the 24th of December. It's a 4-day course, an introduction to Sahih al-Bukhari, and it is actually based on a book of Sheikh's called Madkhal Ra'i ila Sahih al-Bukhari. We've done a lot of courses on Sahih al-Bukhari, and some of you guys, and I know Brother Imran that always attends our weekly Q&A, he's a student of Sheikh's with his Sahih al-Bukhari course, but it's quite intensive. And sometimes for someone who's kind of new to all of this, I think they'd want like a more of a starter course before you get into more of the heavy and more intensive courses. So this is a perfect course for any of you that are looking to kind of get into Hadith studies. You're aware that Sahih Bukhari after the Quran is one of the most authentic and one of the most important books in Islam, but we don't know much about it. Why is it the most authentic book after the Quran? Why is it one of the most important? So Shaykh will be going over this inshallah, and he'll be basing it off of his book. So anyone who is interested, go onto our website assalam.ac.uk/intro-Bukhari. Anyone also who is in London, I'm not sure how much of our audience that attends this are based in London. There is a Halal Expo that's actually going to be happening tomorrow and on Saturday. There's going to be at the Excel Centre. If anyone here is attending or is in the area, inshallah, Saturday is open to the public. We will be there. We have a booth. Our booth is F2. You're more than welcome to come along if you just want to see some of our staff, see some of our team. Just speak to us and maybe have some questions, inshallah. Hopefully we can help you. I think I'll leave it there, inshallah, and we will see you next week, same day, same time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.